Welcome on board JetBlue's Embraer 190. This trusty little plane helped the airline expand into new markets, and it's earned the affections of travelers around the country for its generous legroom and JetBlue's decision to install TV screens. But at around 12 years old, their fleet is starting to show its age. I mean, the IFE screens are about the size of a cell phone, and knowing JetBlue, who takes so much pride in their onboard experience, that just ain't gonna cut it anymore. So I'm flying up to Boston today to see what this New York City startup has up their sleeve. And now it's my pleasure to introduce you to one of the newest additions to the JetBlue fleet and the replacement for the E190, the Airbus A220-300. JetBlue introducing a new plane right now is a bright spot in an otherwise dark and gloomy time. While other airlines are retiring their aircraft and cutting back on services, JetBlue plans to use the A220 to open up new routes and set a new benchmark for regional passenger service. But how much better is this plane than the E190? Well, it's 30% cheaper to operate, and its Pratt & Whitney GTF engines burn a lot less fuel, so it's saving them money and giving JetBlue the all-important bragging rights of being a relatively green airline, and I haven't even shown you the inside yet. The first commercial flight flew from here down to Tampa on April 26, but I decided to skip the inaugural flight and all the festivities that come along with it because I wanted to give you, my viewers, the most authentic experience possible. Okay, that's a lie. The truth is I have a real job and I just can't go around taking off random Mondays, but I'm sure today's trip will be just as fun. I had a few hours here in Boston before my next flight, so I decided to immerse myself in the local culture and enjoy some of the sights and sounds of Logan International Airport. In all seriousness, it's actually a really nice airport, and before I knew it, it was time to head to Florida.
What is our newest fleet type at JetBlue? The program's been in progress for over a year. You guys are the 5th day of revenue service, even though we've been flying it a while now. We're going to probably get off the gate just a couple minutes late. Right, a couple bumps at the beginning. Once we get closer to Tampa, the smoother it's going to get. Other than that, I'm still expecting an on-time arrival down there. Welcome aboard.
After having just come off of their E190, it was hard not to be impressed. The cabin on the A220 is sleek and modern, and I don't know what I like more, the massive IFE screens or these huge windows. As you heard, we were delayed a bit, but that didn't concern me nearly as much as the turbulence that the captain mentioned. Those bumps he was talking about almost made me throw up on my flight into Boston.
Airbus A220 has 6 emergency exits, 2 doors in the front, 2 window exits.
After taxiing for only a few minutes, it was our turn to take off and start this 3-hour flight to Tampa. Now that we've made it through that bumpy air, let's take a closer look around. In total, there's 140 seats in a 2-3 layout. It's an all-economy configuration, but there's 6 rows of extra legroom if you need to stretch out. Although I thought the legroom was great on my standard seat, and it's also 18.6 inches wide, so I didn't feel cramped at all. The seats recline, and they also feature adjustable headrests that have been fashioned with vegan leather, which is supposed to be more breathable. There's a power outlet in front of you and additional USB ports beneath the IFE screen. The tray table pulls out from in front of you, and I'd say it's a pretty average size. When I read that JetBlue added mesh pockets to the seatback, I was disappointed because I thought it was going to look something like this, where the entire seatback pocket is just a small mesh compartment where you can't really store anything at all. So I was really happy to see that the seatback pocket is actually a large leather pouch with additional mesh storage on the outside. The overhead bins are massive, and you can actually fit relatively large bags inside. And as I mentioned before, one of my favorite parts of the A220 are the windows, which are a lot bigger than the ones on the E190. But in my opinion, the highlight of JetBlue's A220 is the IFE system. Its 10-inch high-def screen is a huge improvement over the E190s, and it's filled with high-tech innovations. When you first access the screen, you're greeted with a prompt which explains how you can pair the IFE system with your phone so you can use it as a remote. And when I tried it out, it was actually pretty easy to set up. Personally, I love this because on JetBlue's other planes the remote is in the armrest and it just tends to get in the way. Another cool innovation is the dual screen option, which allows you to open up two separate screens at once. In terms of the actual entertainment, there's a very solid selection of movies and TV shows, including HBO, Showtime, and Live DirecTV. I mean, it's not exactly Emirates, but there's certainly enough to keep you entertained on a regional flight. But if that still isn't enough, JetBlue is famous for offering free Wi-Fi to all their passengers, and the A220 has been equipped with Viasat-2, which boosts internet coverage, speed, and reliability. I was skeptical when I first read about this, but when I tried it out for myself it worked pretty well, and I was even able to stream some YouTube videos. Shortly after takeoff, the crew began the snack and drink service. The IFE system has a menu that lists all the complimentary as well as for purchase items that you can choose from. In the end though, I decided to go with some apple juice and a bag of popcorn chips. JetBlue has also taken the extra step of redesigning the gender-neutral bathroom sign. In total there's 3 bathrooms on this plane, 1 in the front and 2 in the back. To pay homage to their New York City roots, they've decorated the inside with a subway-style motif, which is appropriate because there's nothing that reminds me of the subway more than a toilet. The only issue I had was that I couldn't get the sync to work, but that could be entirely my fault. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that technology and I just didn't get along. After I was done creeping around the plane, I took my seat and played some Battleship. There was a lot of turbulence, but soon enough we crossed into Florida and began our descent. Typically, a regional jet like this isn't very exciting, but the A220 is certainly the exception, and it's hands down a huge improvement over JetBlue's E190s. In total, the airline plans to have 70 of them in their fleet, and I can't wait to see them popping up all around the country.
To Tampa. The local time is 7:52 p.m.
I really enjoyed this flight, and I wanted to give a shout out to the crew who did a great job. I've already booked my seat aboard JetBlue's new Mint Suite on the A321 in June, and after this experience I have high expectations for their updated premium product.
Please keep your seatbelts fastened and carry-on items put away until the captain turns off the seatbelt sign. Be careful when opening overhead bins as items tend to move during flight.
And that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and let me know below if you're excited to try JetBlue's A220, or if you prefer the E190.